1 at 2, source 3350, control still 570, box 3350, cabin 34, number 1 APUs 3850, number 2 source 3900, mixing chamber both about minus 43. Once more with Feel It.
Ring the alarm, ring the alarm, ring the alarm, ring the alarm. The fire flames are rising, no compromising.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm so excited to be back with the fire alarm. Today, I'm not going to be long. I just have a quick revelation that God has given me that I wanted to share, and hopefully it encourages you and helps you push as we go through this thing called life together. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about something called slowing down. And this past week, my pastor's wife, Natalie Lopez, wrote a little blog on a period of rest or a season of rest that she experienced in her life. And there was so much that I wanted to say, so much I wanted to add, and it's something that God has really been speaking to me about also. So I just wanted to kind of elaborate on Pastor Natalie's post and kind of give my own intake on what I've been experiencing and some of the things that I've learned through the years of dealing with busyness, right? So a couple things that I wanted to first start out with is if you're anything like me, what we do is we wake up early in the morning, immediately check our phones, look through what went on in social media land. We look at sports, current events, look at the news or whatever. Some of you guys, hey, y'all get right into your word, get right into prayer, praise God. That's awesome, that's dope. But for the most part, it's just a small period of time, and then we start getting ready for work. We go to work. We deal with customers, employees. We deal with bosses. We deal with a workload, and we deal with a whole bunch of busyness. And our mind is constantly like running and running and running. And then we come home. And that's when we get to take off our shoes, kick up our feet, and get rest. Right? Wrong. Typically, if you're anything like me, we come home to children, we come home to chores, we come home to church, we come home to events, we come home to baseball practices and baseball games and soccer and whatever. We come home and have shows on the television that we need to watch or that we've been following, seasons that we need to catch up on, so on and so forth. And then months down the line or as time passes, we go through a thing called burnout because we are constantly moving and moving and moving, but haven't learned the art of rest. So today, if I had any topic or anything that I would love to call this episode, it would be like slow your roll. So for me, let me explain this. For 10 years, I worked hard in ministry, and there's a lot of verses that that God's burden is his yoke is easy and his burden is light, and praise God. When you are doing the work of the Lord, absolutely he bears the weight. When you're truly in the will of God, there's you're going to go through seasons where you have to bear a lot of weight and push and be available. And yes, I'm not diminishing that verse. God does take a lot of that load. But I went through a season where I was doing too much. I was doing way too much. Like as my students say in Philly, like, yo, bro, you're doing too much, right? So I would come home from a busy day of work, go straight to church. Then I would do this, that. I was involved in everything. I was involved in every ministry, that every ministry event, every special service, board meetings. I was involved in pastoral meetings, and the list goes on and on and on. And I barely found time to rest, let alone spend time with my family, my wife, my kids, but just being super busy. And then I came to a period of my life, which I talked about on one of my episodes, where I stepped away from church. Like I stepped away and I found myself not doing much. And it was crazy because I'd be at home and it was kind of like I was going through some sort of withdrawal of like needing to do something. And in that season, it's kind of when I decided that I was going to slow down from a lot of things in church And when I found myself with a lot of like downtime, I got this epiphany. I need to do something else. And so I got a second job. Now, for most of you guys, you're going to be like, you're tripping, right? Like you went from working to working. But let me explain. This is a little bit something different. Right now, I work part time for the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm a member of the grounds crew. So this time was like getting paid, but still going to the games, relaxing. It wasn't that much of a strenuous job. So in my brain, I was thinking like, who wouldn't want to get paid to have like season tickets to the Phillies? And it was during the playoff time and it was during the World Series. So like the Phillies are obviously one of my favorite teams. So it didn't really feel like work. However, come to find out it was something that actually just took time. And I think that's something natural for humans to do is that when they have time, we fill it with something else and we never truly learn how to rest. I want to explain something too. When I'm talking about resting, I'm not talking about being lazy and just throwing yourself on the sofa and not doing your yard work or whatever like that. I'm not talking about that type of rest. I'm talking about resting and waiting in the Lord. So I want to take you to this verse. It's in Isaiah. A lot of you guys have heard this before. Isaiah 40:31. It says, well, let me go back a little bit to about, let me see, 28. Oh, I'll go to 27. Jacob, why do you say, and Israel, why do you assert, my way is hidden from the Lord, and my claim is ignored by my God? Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the whole earth. He never becomes faint or weary. There is no limit to his understanding. He gives strength to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Youths may become faint and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who trust, or in the King James Version, the word trust is translated to wait. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not faint. That's the verse I want to focus on today. I want to focus on those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. And I want to touch a quick couple topics and hopefully it blesses you. Well, when I was in Colombia, I just came back from a missions trip in Medellin, Colombia, and we did some work with YWAM in Medellin, and it was an awesome time. But one of the things that spoke to me the most, like one of the most impactful times, is there was a young girl who was talking to me as I was climbing the mountain. One of the students at the school, she was talking to me, and she really was like asking me a lot of questions regarding the U.S. And just to put it into context, these are some students who are training or aspiring to become missionaries. So basically, they've like laid down their whole entire lives to become missionaries, right? So they've laid down a lot of the hobbies, they've laid down a lot of their friends, they've laid down a lot of their family even to be in these DTS training programs so that they could become missionaries, which is an awesome thing. So as I am climbing the mountain with one of the young ladies, a student, she's asking me questions like, do your children go to church? And I'm like, yeah, we go to church on Sundays, yes. And she asks me again, she says, do your kids love to study the Bible? And when she said that, I kind of like paused a little bit. I'm like, I wouldn't say my kids like love studying the Bible. Yes, my kids go to youth group. Yes, my kids, we listen to Christian music in the house. We have this traditional American Christian family. But when I answered out of my mouth the honest answer, which I said, no, they don't really study the Bible, she was almost taken back. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean your kids don't study the Bible? And I was like, yeah, like my kids are involved in youth group, and I'm here I am just giving them the all-American answer, right? Oh yeah, we go to church every Sunday. My kids are involved in youth group, and they love it, and they do a lot of activities. And I'm not knocking any of that, but what I started to feel the conviction in my heart was how much in the United States do we consume our life with busyness and really don't end up spending time or waiting on the Lord or resting in the Lord or actually um, strengthening ourselves in the Lord. So in this verse is obviously a prophetic word to Isaiah for Israel. They were under oppression for a long time, and God is speaking to them about waiting on the Lord. So it's a little bit different than the context that I'm talking about. However, how many times do you feel disconnected from God? How much times do you feel like you're not hearing from God? How many times are you just exhausted, not just physically, but just mentally or spiritually? And then I had to pause for a minute and look at my life. Like, hey, when was the last time I sat in a non-busy, non-noisy room and kind of listened to God or listened for God or wanted to just hear his voice and not being consumed by what to do next? I believe that in order to grow in the Lord, you have to learn the art of waiting in the Lord. So this is just a few notes that I got that I want to share with you guys. Let me pull it up real quick. The word wait, which in King James Version, it says, those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. The word wait, according to Oxford Dictionary, is stay where one is or delay action until a particular time or until something else happens. I want to let you know that slowing down allows us to hear from God. When we slow down, remember when I said you got to slow your roll? When you slow down a little bit and take some time to rest in the Lord, you hear from God. That means you start to see things that otherwise would pass us by. Too many times do we go from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, and we never get a chance to get direction of where God is telling us he wants us to go. So slowing down allows us to hear from God. Another thing that slowing down does is it's an act of trusting in God. See, because a lot of times we are so busy because we feel like that we have to do everything on our own. And God just like smacked me with this. He's like, slowing down is actually trusting me, because do you know how many opportunities you missed where I might have provided for you in that area, where I might have sent help for you in that area? I might have told you to do something different in that area than what you did, and you didn't even hear me because you were just trying to do it on your own. So slowing down is an act of trust in God. Slowing down also helps you to reset. You know that in our life, we have to learn how to reset. You know that this isn't just a Christian principle, that other world religions and other people who are spiritual and all of that, they teach how to meditate, how to just spend time in silence, how to reset your mind, because we go through so many things in life. We go through so many things with our family. We go through so many things that sometimes we just need to learn how to reset our mind. It's biblical. And also, slowing down renews your strength. When you learn the art of slowing down, sometimes what it does is, because you're getting clear direction, because you're listening to God, because you're trusting in God, because you have focus, which is like resetting, now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got this clear direction. Now I could do the work of the Lord and it be beneficial. No, I'm not telling you to quit your job. No, I'm not telling you to drop your commitments with your ministries. No, I'm not telling you any of that. But what I'm telling you is, in this microwave society and culture where everything has become so rushed. Everything has become such a high demand. Do you notice that like it seems like days are getting shorter, which is biblical? Does it notice that like have you ever asked yourself lately like, man, that summer went by so fast? Or man, where did time go? Could it possibly be because you're not sitting back and taking time? When was the last time you sat on your front porch and just sat there and just watched the wind blow through the trees? Or enjoyed God's beauty and nature? Or woke up early and just sat outside with a cup of coffee and spoke to God and listened to God? I'm telling you guys that one of the key elements to healthy Christian life is finding a place of rest. And let me encourage you, as you're doing that, take a little notepad, man. Jot down some thoughts. Jot down some things that God might be giving you. I know for myself, there are a few areas that I feel is important for my family in this upcoming season. Number one, it would be keeping almost like a Sabbath day where we're getting off of social media, me, my wife, my family. Because even when we have idle time or like time where we're not doing nothing, how many times do you just pick up your phone and just stay on the phone all day? Like that too is just busyness. So we're looking to implement some of those things in our family. We're looking for more intentional family time or more intentional just quiet and worship time. And I think that these just two little areas right now are going to help us. So how do we do that? We consolidate things. You learn how to say no to some, like I say this all the time. One of my mentors gave me this word one time. He said, Kev, not every party do you have to dance at. And I took that to heart. Like not every single thing that goes on in the church, like you might not have to go to. Not every dance is yours to dance. So learning when to say no, learning when to set boundaries as far as your family's concerned, learning when to get up off your phone, learning when to sit in silence. And these things create, and let me tell you the number one most important thing, being intentional on spending alone time with God. If you find that hard, right, and you find like you don't have a lot of time, start with 10 minutes. Then the following week, up it a little bit, 20 minutes, and so on and so forth, and just spend time with God. Before you know it, you're going to be soaking in His presence, feeling refreshed, and soaring on wings like eagles. So my prayer, and I hope this was a little bit encouraging for you guys, my prayer for you is that in this season coming up, you learn what healthy rest looks like. And I'm not talking about letting your lawn grow and your weeds grow all over the place. I'm not talking about not taking care of the things that you have to take care of just to sleep around or sit up on your couch. I'm talking about those who wait in the Lord. Those who wait in the Lord will renew their strength. And I think that this is the season for you to rest, to fall back from a few things, to learn how to trust and wait in the Lord, and you'll see a big difference in your life. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was encouraging. I'll be back sooner than later.
We do it for love, they do it for carrots. Degrading women, buddy, you should be embarrassed. Spread love in God, brother, heaven, you merit. Worldwide, Baba, I used to be local. Now the Swiss play liquid beef, sipping cocoa.